I'm the chair of the Southeast Volusia Manufacturing and Technology Coalition. I want to thank you all for coming this morning. Sorry we are running a few minutes late, but you know, sometimes good things have a little tweaking. As you know, the Southeast Volusia Manufacturing and Technology Coalition is a collaboration between the cities of New Smyrna Beach, Edgewater, and Oak Hill. Can you hear me now? Okay, so New Smyrna Beach, Edgewater, Oak Hill, and the Chamber. And with that, I'd like to introduce the Chamber's new Executive Director, Paul Secor. Paul, if you'll wave. I'd also like to recognize the Economic Development Directors for each city. Chris Edwards of New Smyrna Beach. Samantha Bergeron of Edgewater, Mike Armon of Oak Hill. Okay, and then today we also have with us Helga Van Eckert from Volusia County Economic Development Department, Chris Wimsat with Team Volusia, and James Alvarado with Career Source. Our committee members who you have seen busying about this morning are Rebecca Cruz, Tracy Barlow, and we also have Carrie Boynton with us here this morning. I want to thank Daytona State College for providing the venue for this morning, and a special thanks to Dr. Weems and Clarence McLeod for getting everything ready so that we could have a program today. And then above all, I want to thank a special thanks to our sponsors, each and every one of you who have participated with us and supported us from the beginning and continue to support us today. We thank you very much, and we hope you will enjoy the program. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Samantha Bergeron.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Good morning. As Bliss said, my name is Samantha Bergeron. I am the Economic Coordinator for the City of Edgewater, and I'm also a volunteer on the Southeast Volusia Manufacturing and Technology Coalition Committee, which is now housed underneath the Southeast Volusia Chamber of Commerce. So we are making a lot of progress, and today I'm just going to give you kind of an update of kind of who we are, where we are, and where we are within our plan. So kind of a progress report, and I promise to be quick. Oops. Okay, so that's today's objectives. And kind of who we are. So as Bliss mentioned, this is a partnership between Edgewater, New Smyrna Beach, Oak Hill, and then the cities have asked the Chamber to be a partner. And kind of how this came about is in 2015, when we were all looking at our comprehensive economic development strategies for our cities, or our SEDs as we call them, we noticed that we have quite a few weaknesses and opportunities when we did our SWOT analysis, when you just look at a city all by itself. But then if you look at the bigger picture and our economic region, which is Southeast Volusia, we realized when we read New Smyrna Beach's plan and we talked to Oak Hill, that we have some synergies and we have a lot of complements for each other, and that together, working together, we were much stronger, and a lot of those threats kind of went away and the opportunities rose, and the weaknesses also diminished as well. So that's when we decided to write that into all of our SEDS plans, that we wanted to work together as one economic unity, and just kind of work together, bringing the Chamber in as the glue that keeps all of our communities together, and go forward. So we started with just kind of trying to figure out what we wanted to do and kind of our mission and our vision. And this is what we came up with for our mission. And this work took about, 9 months, almost a year, because we brought in all of our stakeholders. We brought in our local businesses. Some of you were at those meetings, or your business was at those meetings. We brought in Career Source, Team Volusia, the Chambers of Commerce, the county, countywide. We didn't just stick to Southeast Volusia alone, but we brought in stakeholders and we had very many meetings, and this was the mission and the vision that we came up with. And I'm just going to read them to you. I know you can read them on the, but when you hear it, it makes a profound statement. Our mission is to brand, market, and promote Southeast Volusia as an attractive place to do business with an emphasis on manufacturing, technology, and value-added industries. And our vision, Southeast Volusia is recognized globally as competitive, business-friendly, economically strong community with a high quality of life. And that's exactly who we are. It also makes great sense because if you look at this map, which I think I borrowed from probably Team Volusia, we are located within the technology triangle, which we also borrowed from Chris Wimsat, with Daytona Beach and Embry-Riddle at the top. Down at the bottom, you've got Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral, and then to our west, we have Orlando with UCF and MIT. So we're strategically located right in the middle to be able to do business or garner some business and higher paying jobs, and to be able to diversify our existing business and what they offer with what's going on down the Space Center. Because we know when we have a dip in our economy, whether it's COVID or whether it's the Great Recession or whatever it was that we had, if we can help our businesses diversify their offerings, then it helps them be more resilient towards economic downturns. And that's good for everybody. So our targeted industries with our initiative are really regulated or kind of geared towards aerospace and aviation, space commerce, supply chain, computer, electronic products, machine manufacturing, medical equipment, specialty business. But you have to remember that a lot of those skill sets that are required for those are transferable into our marine industries and some of our other industries with composites that we already have here in Southeast Volusia. And that's why these make sense. It's a complement. We didn't want to add more competition to you, but we wanted to be able to complement the businesses that we already have and support our businesses that we already have and work with our education programs and educators so that those skills are all transferable. And of course, we had early on from Sauer and Oak Hill, this was the crew access arm for the Orion as it was moving down through 3A. And then you can see it crossing the bridge and then being installed. So this was, remember we talked about, we started thinking about this in 2015. Through the year of 2016 and all of that time, we kept meeting with our stakeholders and we created a plan. And this plan had 6 goals, and we brought this plan and we had it approved by all 3 city commission or councils. We brought it to New Smyrna Beach first, they adopted it, and then Oak Hill adopted it, and then the city of Edgewater adopted it. And we've been working. This plan didn't just sit on some shelf somewhere. We've been very diligently working on these plans and marking these off as the goals as we accomplish them and finish them. And as I alluded to, this is kind of our timeline. We've got our plans approved in 2017. We're working with Team Volusia and some of our other partners on site readiness on sites that we have here in Southeast Volusia. And about that time, remember the Bryce report came out that the county did. The county got a grant and they had the Bryce report. And if anyone would like a copy of it, I'd be more than happy to provide that to you. But it talks about the space commerce supply chain. And a lot of that business is, like I said, it's homegrown. It's existing businesses that are making slight changes to your machinery to be able to build something that they need down in the Cape or down at Kennedy Space Center with a different company. So a lot of your business that you see is not so much recruiting, although that's great and that's fancy and exciting, but let's face it, it's expensive to recruit companies. And so what we have is really, we want to invest in our companies that we have here locally and to help them grow and be able to adjust so that they can garner some of that business. We've also been working on tightening up and creating or reaching out and creating more relationships with Kennedy Space Center's offices, with the Florida High Tech Corridor Council, with UCF, with the Daytona State College. the CEO Business Alliance, and Embry-Riddle. And so these are some of the relationships that we've started and that we are looking to foster. As I mentioned, some of our goals that we've accomplished is that we have successfully launched a website, and we just finished, and thanks to working with Blue Dog Video, we just finished our video. So you guys will be the first to see the finished video. If we could go to the video, please.
Imagine a place that combines the lifestyle of coastal Florida with the space and tools to support new industries and businesses. It's here in Southeast Volusia County, Florida, the launch pad for your aerospace business.
So Southeast Volusia is probably one of the hidden gems in our region as far as attracting businesses.
When you look at Southeast Volusia, it's very unique because it has a lot of great proximity to assets in our state that you won't find anywhere else.
You can look at the infrastructure, and certainly we have that here. You can look at access to qualified workforce, and we have that here. Those are the tangibles that you can certainly check all the boxes, and we check all the boxes.
Southeast Volusia County is home to growing, vibrant communities, 2 major interstate systems, an international airport, and access to seaports and the major metropolitan cities of Orlando and Jacksonville. Our area is also the very heart of America's technology triangle, with Kennedy Space Center to the south and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University to the north. Aerospace, aviation, advanced technologies. The future begins right here.
Students that come to Embry-Riddle have a passion for aviation and aerospace, and they come here because they want to get a deep education in those areas and then go to work for the top aircraft manufacturers, airlines, and aerospace companies. So we're connected to Cape Canaveral in the south and Orlando in the west. There's a lot of supply chain industry that is building up in this area to support the launches that happen down there.
Companies have already invested more than $250 million to bring their high-tech companies to the area.
So you're kind of in the middle of all this technology happening. And then the best part is you're located on the east coast of Florida. So it's great quality of life here. The weather is great. You're close to beaches, shopping, restaurants. So it really has everything you need, the technology as well as the quality of life.
Southeast Volusia has the largest contiguous industrial area in the county. Governments and businesses are working hand in hand to expedite permits and get your business moving.
3, 2, 1.
We have developed an aviation aerospace overlay zone here. We are doing what we can to speed up the process because we understand it's not just shovel ready, it's got to be permit ready too.
And you'll find not only government organizations, public-private organizations, but an entire community of citizens that can support those business endeavors.
Southeast Volusia has a strong workforce pipeline with top-ranked schools and colleges, vocational and STEM programs. Southeast Volusia is ready to work.
This lab is a great example of something that's unique. Right here in Southeast Volusia, this lab was created to meet the workforce needs, not only the existing workforce needs, but the emerging workforce needs. There is an infrastructure here, there is an ecosystem that exists right now today that's ready to meet that need.
Excellent schools and year-round activities also make it a perfect place for raising a family.
I've got three children, 10, 8, and 4 years old. We've chosen to raise them right here in Southeast Volusia. I think there's no better place to raise a family, and I could literally work and raise my family anywhere in America, and I've chosen to stay right here.
If you're a business owner looking to relocate somewhere, you need to put Southeast Volusia at the top of your list. Here you can live and have a great quality of life, and it's really the area that's up and coming when you look at manufacturing, technology, and new business. This is where it's at, Southeast Volusia.
Industry, education, workforce, economy, and lifestyle. All reasons Southeast Volusia is the launch pad for your aerospace business.
So That's a 3-minute video. We've also whittled it down. We have a 1-minute video and a 30-second video that just takes pieces of that. So with that, we can share it with everybody. We'll make sure we share it with Team Volusia and our partners so that when they go to trade shows and they have someone that's interested, they can have that running in their booth and be able to use it as a tool. So it's not just for us to covet and keep. It's for us to share and to put out there with all the cities, the chambers of commerce, Team Volusia, Visit Florida, whoever will be happy to take it, we will be happy to give it to them. So, go back to PowerPoint. So we also started last year a social media campaign. So I gave you the links to the website. We also have a Facebook page as well as a LinkedIn page. And we're working with ZGraph on that, and we're kind of piggybacking and following really what Team Volusia has been doing with posts and kind of regular, just kind of trying to reach out. Right now there's not a huge following. As I said, it's only been about a year that we got this going and started. So we're looking at fine-tuning this and tweaking it just a little bit. But if you see it, if you could like it and share it, the more it spreads, and then it will spread nationally as well to all of your contacts that you have, and that will have a much farther reach on that. And lastly, and I've heard this a couple times, the gentleman who spoke from the Florida High Tech Corridor, and I've heard Deb Denny say it a couple times, is that regional is the new local. And you know, we all need to be talking and walking and acting as that we are one economic region. And that starts, you know, that's why we selected the Chamber of Commerce to kind of be our lead in this project. And this promotion is because they do serve all 3 cities. And so we just please think about that when you're walking and talking about what we're going on. So our next steps, we're going to launch the videos. We're ready to sit down and create phase 2 of our plan because we've accomplished and checked off all the marks and all the goals on our first plan. Working on really nurturing our relationships, and I can't say it enough, our regional thinking and talking and walking. So thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful day.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Morning. Lovely, right?
Thank you for inviting us to the conversation, us meeting Daytona State College. We're always very pleased to be recognized as being a stakeholder and a partner in this community. Our college has a president, Tom Lavasso, Dr. Lavasso as director.
You gotta speak a little bit closer.
I'm done. Our president, Dr. Tom Lavasso, has directed sustained and consistent focus for this region. And we have tried to honor that interest and directive by bringing resources and support into the Southeast Volusia community. As you know, Daytona State College is a major pipeline provider. We are a workforce sustainer, and we have the best in terms of training, quality, and opportunity for the residents in our community. So this morning's presentation provides and offers an overview of what it is that we're doing today, as well as our potential for tomorrow in terms of assisting your efforts, our efforts as a region, in building and sustaining a well-qualified, highly competitive workforce. Our college, the Mary Carl College, was named after a woman who had great vision post-World War II relative to empowering her community through vocational and workforce education. And we are so pleased to carry her legacy through our college, the Mary Carl College, and honor that legacy by doing what we do. So the work this morning that we present is an indication of what we do because we're driven by passion. it's an indication of what we do because we're driven by the interest that we have and the talent that we have amassed. But it's also our pride point. So each of the programs that will be presented to you this morning, please know that they are the pride points of the Mary Carl College. On your desk, there's a career pathways guide that has been put together for all constituent groups, our students, our counselors, our advisors, our teachers, our employers, to help all of the users to understand how to navigate and connect the dots. So the intent of that guide is to indicate that from wherever you start, wherever that is, GED, an AS program, a degree program, pre-college, unemployed, furloughed, wherever you are, there's a spot in that book for where you can put your finger on and say, this starts my journey. And then there's such clarity in terms of how you then can begin to put one step in front of the other as you empower your own ability to sustain. So please, at your leisure, take a moment to look through the brochure. We'll be around later on to talk with you about any of those programs that are featured. But at this time, I just want to turn the program over to my colleagues. I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, or I'm sorry, good morning again, everyone. I'm going to deviate a little bit and I'm going to touch the mic, but I'll make sure I'll clean it up for the next presenter. As the director of the New Smyrna Beach Edgewater campus, I am proud to be part of the development of our workforce, education and training programs. Daytona State College has been at the forefront. We have worked diligently in providing collaborative and partnering with all of our business leaders, our community leaders, and those who champion the development of our county on this end, as well as the use of this platform here at Daytona State College, the Edgewater South Campus, to provide a training platform. So with that said, I just want to bring to your attention a couple slides here. And again, yes, I want to just, again, welcome you to this beautiful campus. We are thankful for the Southeast Volusia Manufacturing and Technology Coalition Symposium today, hosted here. Next slide. And I just want to go over a few things that are very important to Daytona State College. We want to continue to serve the needs of the community. We want to make sure that we are committed to the value of the community. We want to make sure that our students have access to affordable education and training. And what we want to make sure everyone knows here is that we appreciate the leadership of Dr. Thomas Lovasso. Very important to have a good leader in what we're trying to accomplish moving into the future. The college provides a wide variety of quality dual enrollment, certificate programs, 2-year and 4-year programs. And then finishing out this slide, DSC has worked, go back one more from the class to that last one. The other slide, I'm sorry. The second one? I'm sorry, I just want to finish that. DSC just works really hard to work with our business and industry to develop quality partnerships. Next slide. Now for our virtual audience, we just have a few things we want to make sure you're aware of. Please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. There's a chat function, and they're all pointed out by the red arrows there that you can take advantage of. If you want to share your thoughts, we would rather you raise your hand, and then someone will be able to take your chat. And then closed captioning is available as well. And all of the arrows point to where you can take advantage of utilizing these resources. With that said, I just want to close with a final statement. The mission of the Office of the Director of the Daytona State College, New Smyrna Beach Edgewater campus is to build community partnerships and promote access to academic programs and services that address the needs of the local community. You are our local community. These campus-wide services contribute to the college mission of emphasizing student success, embracing excellence and diversity, as well as fostering innovation to enhance teaching and learning. With that said, I hope you all enjoy today's symposium, and thank you so much. I'll now turn it over to Frank Snyder.
Yep, there you go. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Frank Snyder. I'm the school director of the School of Workforce, and we have expanded our programs. So what you see here is the start. We've added advanced machining, advanced welding, and now we've taken heat and air conditioning from mechanic. We now offer a technician course as well. So we'll continue to expand, and we do it based on the needs of the community. So our advisory boards tell us what we need to do, and we'll go there. And we've been doing that, and we'll continue to do that. One of the things that we're starting this year, and we could use your all's help, is we've started a dual enrollment program right here at New Smyrna for our CNC program. So we're trying to recruit students from the high school. They can walk across the street at noontime. We'll train them for 3 hours, and then they can walk back across the street. So we're not taking them outside of their comfort zone. We're bringing them over here to give them some training. The beauty part is if we can capture 10 juniors in their sophomore or in their second semester, we will graduate them in their first semester as a senior, and they can take the next step. If you follow the pathway guide, they can start their AS degree while they're still in high school. So for parents, no cost. Get a college certificate and get started on their AS degree. So if you know a parent who's got a child who's interested in CNC machining, please pass the word along. We could use them, and we're going to start in January with this program. So again, we'll be here. We've got our lab will be running. We've got some previous students, and we've got a couple instructors here. So if you have questions or you have, if you need some information, we'll be glad to answer them. But we'd love to have you, and feel free to stick around after the meeting and take our tour. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pretty for me, Frank.
Frank Knight Snyder's just so powerful a speaker, he knocked the microphone right off the stand.
I don't think I get all credit for all that, but it's, I'll take it, I guess.
Cleon, you'll bring me up. Thank you.
Interrupting your flow.
No, you're cool. I'm not flowing yet. I'm starting, about to start.
Don't flow till it's ready for the flow.
But when I start, y'all hang on. Whatever works for you. Excellent. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Frank Mercer, Director of the Center for Business and Industry at Daytona State College. It's our mission to meet the existing and emerging needs of businesses right here in Southeast Volusia by providing training, customized training, public workshops, and technical assistance that meet your needs. And so, at the Center for Business and Industry, those are our three major functions that you see there. We are proudly part of the Mary Carl College of Workforce and Continuing Education. And I want to give you some examples, the few minutes that I have with you. This morning I want to give you some real tangible examples of the kind of work that we do in the Center for Business and Industry there. So glad to see our partners and friends from Boston Whaler and Everglades here this morning in the city of New Smyrna Beach. I'll speak to some very real examples of the type of work we've done. Over the last few years, we've worked closely with Boston Whaler in a couple of areas. Microsoft Excel training. We all use Excel in the workplace, and probably, if we're honest with ourselves, can admit that there's a lot of functions in Excel that we are not using. So we've been on site at Boston Whaler training groups of folks there in Microsoft Excel, basic, intermediate, and advanced, to help them be more profitable, more productive. Our friends at Everglades Boats called us with a wonderful opportunity. They have some workers whose first language is not English, and so they wanted to make sure that their workers could communicate not only in the workplace, but at home and in society as well, right? If you're happy at home, you're happy at work, right? It certainly helps. And so we had the privilege and the honor of coming on site at Everglades Boats and providing English for speakers of other languages on site right there at Everglades, and what an opportunity that was. City of New Smyrna Beach called us with a couple of opportunities. They wanted to provide customer service training to a lot of folks that are out in their field operations, their public works area, and so we did 3 sessions with the City of New Smyrna Beach in customer service, and then also skills for supervising, that basic frontline supervisory training. Yesterday, you and I were on the same team together, and today all of a sudden I'm the team lead. What do I do? How do I handle that? And so we did that kind of training with the City of New Smyrna Beach and with Boston Whaler as well. So those are some real tangible examples. I want to give you an example of customized training that we're doing right now. We'll finish it up on December the 17th. Metra Electronics, a manufacturer of aftermarket audio electronic equipment located in Holly Hill, came to us with a need. And their need was, they have some apprentices, and they're working with CareerSource Flagler Volusia on an apprenticeship program for mold makers. They have mold makers because part of their operation is doing plastic injection molding for the brackets that the car stereo goes in. So you buy that real fancy stereo, and you need a bracket to slide that in your dash to fit whatever make, model of car that you have. And so they do the plastic injection molding. And those of you that know anything about molds know that they are expensive and costly to repair. And so Metra wanted to be able to repair their own molds without having to send them out. And oftentimes those molds can have hairline, and if I had a little more hair, I might pull one out, but I'm going to keep the ones I have. But little hairline fractures that need to be repaired, and that requires micro welding. And so Metra came to us and said, can you help? And working with our School of, Frank Snyder slipped out, I was going to call him out. Working with our School of Workforce and our welding instructors there, they said yes, they've got, a couple of them have some expertise in micro welding. And so working with Career Source Flagler Volusia, they helped pay for half of this. Career Source Flagler Volusia is paying for the training component of it, and Metra is paying for the equipment. We had to buy 2 micro welders and then the supplies that go along with all of that. And so Metra paid for the equipment, Career Source Flagler Volusia paid for the training, a wonderful partnership to help train their apprentices, their mold making apprentices in micro welding. Will save them a lot of time and a lot of money, and this is the fun kind of stuff. So you'll see there the gentleman looking through a microscope at some small holes, and he's making a little small weld around a hole. Similar type operation that we're training those apprentices at Metra. And what a value to those apprentices, that their employer is investing in them, developing that loyalty that will encourage them to stay right there at Metra. So that's an example of some customized training, and we've done that kind of work in just about anything you could think of, from soft skills to very hard technical kinds of skills as well. I always say, come to me, ask, and we'll try as hard as we can to make it happen. The beauty of the Center for Business and Industry is that I have the resources of the entire college at my fingertips, and micro welding is a perfect example of that, how we work with another department to pull that off. We also do a lot of public workshops that many of you have taken advantage of. One of our most popular, I mentioned earlier, is Skills for Supervising. And this covers those very basic things: Family Medical Leave Act. What do I say? What do I not say? How do I handle that? Performance management, having those difficult conversations, delegation, communication, documentation, all those basic skills that you would want that first-time frontline supervisor to have. Or maybe you have a long-time supervisor that has some gaps here or there that needs some help. This is a great course for that. And because it's a public course, they're in the course with other folks, and they begin to hear that, guess what? The other folks have the same problem that we have, you know? And so they can begin to develop those relationships and piggyback off of each other. Well, how did you handle that? How did you handle that? So it's a wonderful workshop that, again, we can do in a public fashion as well as on a customized fashion as well. You'll see here a flyer for our computer series. We do a lot of Excel training, but we can do training in Word and PowerPoint, Access, and then that Office 365. We all have, you know, we may all have Office 365, and guess what? You have it on your phone, you have it on your desktop computer, and do they really talk to each other like they should? Are you really leveraging that resource and that technology to be able to use the capabilities of Office 365 on your phone, on your desktop, and in the cloud, and how they're all connected and how they talk? A great course, our Office 365 tips and tricks, helps you and your workforce leverage that valuable resource that you've invested a lot of money in, helps them to use it and to be able to communicate from anywhere in the world, all over the world, 24/7. So those are examples of some of our public workshops. We do a lot of others. I've got a couple of trainers here as an example as well. One of the public workshops that we offer and are going to begin to ramp up more and more is industrial technology maintenance. I was so glad to hear Samantha talk about the targeted industries that y'all are looking at here in Southeast Volusia. All of those targeted industries are going to have automation in some form or fashion, technology in some form or fashion. You're going to hear about FAME coming up in just a little bit, that multi-skilled technician. And so these trainers, we have here a PLC, programmable logic controller, trainer as well over there, power and control system electronics. But we cover things also like pneumatics, hydraulics, electrical. That's a big need with a lot of folks. Electrical, piping, welding, those kind of skills that you would want a good multi-skilled maintenance technician to have. So you're going to begin to see more and more and more about those programs. And I brought these to prove to you that they're in a case. I pack them up, bring them here. I would love to fill up a truck at Daytona State College and drive it down here and say, Clarence, I need this room for the next 10 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever, and set up a maintenance lab in this room. I would love that opportunity. So give me that challenge, please, if you would. This stuff is mobile. The curriculum for this is web-based curriculum. So again, that helps us with the mobility as well. And so during the tour, please come take a look, and I'd be happy to answer questions. I want to talk a little bit about technical assistance, and I'll mention my friends at Volusia County Economic Development and Team Volusia. DeVita Labs is a company that is in the dialysis industry, and they do testing for the dialysis industry. And they are located in DeLand. And several years ago, they were making a decision as to where to expand, where to put their headquarters. And because of the hard work of folks like Team Volusia and Volusia County Economic Development and the city of DeLand, they decided to expand in DeLand, remain in DeLand and expand there. They have a beautiful, huge campus out at the Airport Industrial Park in DeLand. They've added a lot of employees, and there's incentive funding available for that from CareerSource Florida. And so we, working with DeVita Labs, helped them with their application, provided that technical assistance so that they could leverage that money to train the employees that they kept, and to also then train the new employees that they hired as a result of that expansion. So the last 3 years, we've gotten them anywhere between $200,000 to $300,000 a year to help them train their existing and their new employees. Thanks to the hard work of folks at Volusia County Economic Development, Team Volusia, and City of DeLand Economic Development, to keep them here and keep those jobs here and even add jobs. And I always love to tell folks, and to bring some of our money back here. Get it out of Tallahassee's hands and bring it back here. That's our money sitting up there. And so what a great opportunity to do that. So I love bringing money back into this area. Challenge me with that as well. That's a fun part of my job. So I wanted to try to give you some real life examples of work that we're doing right now, and just to help spur your imagination and to encourage you to ask. That's the opportunity we want. Ask. Give us the opportunity to try to help you. We love working with Southeast Volusia Manufacturing Technology Coalition, the kind of work we do with this group and with CareerSource Flagler Volusia, CareerSource Florida, as well as the Southeast Volusia Chamber and all the work that Clarence does in the community here. When an opportunity came up for some more funding from Tallahassee, Governor DeSantis released some funding for what's called rapid credentialing training. And the purpose of the rapid credentialing grant, we received this grant in late August, is to help those persons who have been negatively affected by COVID. Negatively affected either by becoming unemployed, by being furloughed, or by being underemployed. And underemployed can be defined several different ways, but one way you may think of it, you may have workers that right now you can't pay them overtime, there's no overtime. They used to get overtime and now they can't get overtime. You're working in split shifts or reducing shift work, that kind of stuff. That's an example of being underemployed. Or maybe they're in a position for which they are really overskilled for, but because of the nature of COVID and the nature of your business right now, they're in this position. That's another example of being underemployed. And so you may have had to furlough some folks. This rapid credentialing grant is a great opportunity to reach out. We've got a couple of companies who furloughed some folks and said, well, we'd like to offer them the opportunity to come and take some training because they have been negatively affected. Like everybody else, I've got a quick video, I think. Yeah, play on if you're able to play that for us. Thank you. We've branded rapid credentialing as Upskill Now. Maybe. so the rapid credentialing program targets 9 areas. The state of Florida gave us a list of high demand occupations, and what we attempted to do then, and some constraints. One of the things the governor wants with that funding is training provided in 18 weeks or less. And so again, a good example of how we work with other departments on campus is, for instance, our CNC program. That's a 600-hour certificate program. What we did was pull out the very first entry-level CNC milling course in that program, offer it in a non-credit format. It's the exact same course, but all these 9 programs that you saw are pathways into existing programs at Daytona State College. So it's not a one and done. I mean, it can be if a person wants to take the training and then go to work and never take any more training, they can do that. But we also wanted to make sure that it led to a pathway. So an example, that CNC milling course is the entry-level course in our regular CNC certificate program. So we'll give them credit for that. They'll get a credential for that. The HVAC installer is another example. Our HVAC program is a 1-year certificate program, but what we did is we pulled components out of a couple of courses in that program just to make that basic HVAC installer position a big need that the industry tells us, and that gets that technician's foot in the door, and then they can immediately go right into a regular HVAC program, continue their education from there, then work on their AS, their bachelor's, if they choose to do that. And so those are some examples. I have some flyers up front when we're done that provide a little more information and some contact information. We have, whoops. I'm going to be hitting the button while I was talking. Sorry about that. And so we have a couple of staff persons. You may begin to see some information from us about Upskill Now. It's Rapid Credentialing Grant, but we've branded it Upskill Now. So there's contact information of Sherry and Shayna, our staff people that are managing this program. But again, think about those categories of unemployed, furloughed. Maybe you have some folks furloughed that you'd like to reach out to and help stay engaged with them. This is one way to do that. Or maybe you've got some underemployed folks right there in your plant. We'll be happy to work with you on that. And of course, there's my contact information. And we look forward to working with the Southeast Volusia Manufacturing and Technology Coalition. Thank you.
Good morning, Volusia County.
Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Dennis Dio Parker. My personal safety commitment is to confirm zero energy in all situations, both at home and at work. And I'm here this morning to talk to you about a program that's called FAME. So a couple of small caveats beforehand as I start, and I got a question for whoever our tech person is back here. One, I've been teaching for the last 2 days all day, and I don't know if my voice is going to make it. We'll see. It's already starting to crack a little bit with that. And secondly, this is the first time I've ever had to speak behind a mask. Most of you don't know me. A few of you do, and I don't usually do well anchored to a mic or behind the mask. We'll see how it works. I might blow this thing off. I want to talk to you about FAME. FAME is a program that by its name is about manufacturing. I'm going to tell you it goes beyond that. It goes into, for any employers who have technicians or technical employees, have technology, right? And even though this is going to be in the first couple of slides, I do want to give you a little bit of an understanding of how FAME came about. Because while it is an education program, clearly it is absolutely not like other programs. We have a college partner with it, but what we do at the college is entirely different. Some of the key features of FAME. It was employer vision, it was employer developed, it is employer led, and it is employer managed. And just at a very high level, I'm going to say because of that, we get significantly better results than we do from traditional programs. those of you who are employers. And my understanding is among the companies that are represented here today, both I think here and virtually, right, on that, my understanding is maybe that represents 6,000 plus, over 6,000 employees, you know, and I don't know how many of those are technical. I know a lot are, right? So maybe my first message before I kick into the slideshow is if you're an employer and if you need technical employees, this program is absolutely right in the middle of your target. The other preliminary thing that I want to say is that when we designed this program, we actually had, if you want to think of it as customers, who are the customers that this program serves? We actually had 4 customers in mind, and this program is designed to fully serve all customers. I'm going to say that because typically in education, any level of education, you ask educators who their number one customer is, they'll tell you students. Okay, nothing wrong with that, right? But they'll tell you students. Students are also one of those 4 primary customers in this program. But I just told you what one of the other ones are, employers, right? How do you design a program if you're making it to directly and immediately serve employers? It's also made to be an incredible program for the colleges that partner with us. And so we bring some aspects to colleges that they don't typically have. And here's the 4th one that might surprise you. And I know it'll resonate with quite a few people in this audience because of some of the introductions I heard earlier, and you don't usually hear of this being a consideration in a program development. Economic development. This program is meant to be a primary service program to EDO organizations to strengthen and improve your community. So I've got, what we're going to do today is we've got back-to-back presentations. I work for Toyota Motor North America. It's our North American headquarters. I am on assignment to the Manufacturing Institute in Washington, D.C. I've been there since late spring of 2019, and we'll be there on into next year as they pick this program up to take it to national scale. So I'm going to give you, so to speak, the overhead, the overall view of FAME, what we're doing with it at the national level. But then I'm going to be followed by Wendy Samuel and Dante Leone of Daytona State College, who are going to tell you about the details of the Sunshine chapter of FAME. This is the chapter that is starting right here in this area. And hopefully I won't burn up too much mic time. And Wendy will be able to go through hers, and we'll have a little bit of room for discussion afterward. That being said, let's see if there we go, FAME USA. So FAME is the Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. Let me briefly say that's how it started. Toyota's a manufacturer, right? But because it is such a strong program, we have now had many other non-manufacturing companies join. Now they're technical, right? But we've got Eli Lilly Pharmaceuticals. We've got 3 utility companies that are part of it. We've got 2 major farm operations. We've got a grocery chain, just to give you an idea of how this is expanding beyond the manufacturing scope. FAME is the umbrella for several training programs that all comprise what we call the FAME Career Pathway. The core pathway is AMT, Advanced Manufacturing Technician. It's the HUD program. You'll see that with a couple of things that I'll explain later. But it's basically meant to meet that technician need. Unless the employers who have technicians in Volusia County are different than the rest of the U.S., and I say it that way to say I think you're likely not different, right? You don't have an easy time getting technicians. You don't have an easy time filling those openings. You don't feel when you get a new technician employee, especially an entry-level employee, you don't feel like they're actually work ready for you. And so the hub program that we have is the Advanced Manufacturing Technician program, and then we build this career pathway around it. So the FAME Career Pathway, intentional pre-K to 12 exposure to STEM, robotics, manufacturing, build awareness, and an affinity for the AMT program. And so literally, now we don't do it directly ourselves, but with partnerships, we actually act all the way from pre-K just to get kids excited and lit up about STEM, all the way through high school graduation, an initial 2-year associate degree program. And for those who wish to go further, we have programs after that, and they're all designed and targeted toward the needs of employers. Toyota is the founding partner for FAME. It was used by Toyota exclusively before expanding to other companies. Program grew beyond the Toyota footprint, leading to the transition to the Manufacturing Institute, and that's what I'm doing. I'm helping them to pick up that program. And the Manufacturing Institute assumed stewardship in late 2019. This is their PowerPoint for this. I don't have it kind of memorized like the one that I used, so I'm going to say this. It may be in the next slide, right? But as we speak right now, this program started in one location with one company in one state. As I'm talking to you today, it's in 13 states, has 34 locations, and close to 400 employers involved with it. Employers gravitate to this program because it actually works and it is successful, and that growth beyond Toyota has been very organic but very fast. And by the way, if what happens next year in 2021 is what we expect will happen, it will expand by 4 additional states. I think Michigan, Virginia, Colorado, and one more I just can't recall right now will all be bringing programs in. Collective challenge, not enough skilled workers. Not enough technicians to fill the openings we have, and that gap is big. I think the national gap is close to 400,000. New hires are not work ready. That doesn't mean they're not experts on your floor. They can't be until they get there, right? But in all the things that we as employers look at for work readiness, they're just not there. We don't feel like that, and that's what I call the beer conversation. When I'm sitting around with other employers and we're just talking about, how things are going, we see a tremendous gap in the workforce. New hires are not globally competitive, and current technical employees kind of look like me. They're kind of old with that. They're approaching retirement age, right? We have a very disproportionate number of our technical employees who are near retirement age, and they're starting, I call it the gray tsunami. You may have heard that before too. That's kind of starting to pick up now. And we don't have anybody to replace them. Solution is the FAME AMT program. It's a scalable program to train multi-skilled, incredibly flexible maintenance technicians, employer-led, supported by the Manufacturing Institute and the National Association of Manufacturers. Now, let me make a couple of connections to what has already been said in this meeting today. You want to grow the economic footprint of Volusia County and Southeast Volusia County in the case of this particular organization that we have, right? You talked about strengthening your businesses that are in place. You talked about attracting new business. And you, in fact, do have a lot of attractive features here if you leverage those features, right? The National Association of Manufacturers is the largest trade group of any kind in the U.S. It's based in Washington, D.C. It is partnered with, and by partnered, they share the same office. You can't get much more partnered than that, with the Manufacturing Institute. So for those of you who know this, the National Association of Manufacturers is basically a C6 lobbying group. Manufacturing Institute is a C3 workforce group, right? Without a political connection to it. The National Association of Manufacturers has a membership base of 14,000 employers. They can be incredibly effective in getting Volusia County across the U.S. network for companies to be aware of. There's more to be said about that, but I'll let you take that right there. When we have more time, we can see how that might be leveraged. The AMT program, Advanced Manufacturing Technician, again, 2-year associate degree level technician program, develops global best entry-level, multi-skilled maintenance technicians. That global best is not a slogan or a rah-rah rallying statement. It is exactly what we designed the program to do. At the point of graduation, when they walk across that stage, we want those graduates to be more prepared, more work ready, more capable than the best programs in other parts of the world, including Germany's vaunted apprenticeship program. And we believe we're there. Specific academic foundation, intensive, consistent reinforcement of distinct professional behaviors and practices, deep integration of core competencies, and think lean manufacturing. We have an incredible lean manufacturing component built into this program. On-site, intentional work train experience for 2 years. The work-study co-op model, it's 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 5 straight semesters. I don't think anybody in here gets the summer semester off. Why the heck do we give students who are preparing for an adult career the summer off like we do middle schoolers? And so when we designed this program, we didn't want to lose a semester of learning, but at the same time, we wanted a more realistic environment to prepare for the workplace. So these students are engaged at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 5 straight semesters. Each week, 3 days with a sponsoring employer, 2 days with the college partner. College and employers co-educate. It's a true co-education model. Students earn an associate degree, basically. Emphasis is on academic excellence with low grades and course repeats not accepted. We actually have a higher academic standard than traditional programs do. We have other higher standards that go beyond the academics in the program. FAME chapter awards recognition of the mastery of competencies, manufacturing core exercises, professional behaviors, hours worked, and academic rigor that is met. Employers review and approve the curriculum, lead recruitment with supporting partners, set the attendance policy. It's much more stringent than for regular traditional students. Pay students for their time worked. An hourly pay floor, an expectation is set by the chapter. However, companies can pay more if they want to. The intent is to eliminate education debt for candidates. So one thing that we do, students in this program, when they graduate debt-free. We do not give them free money. They work for the employer 3 days a week. If the employer joins the FAME chapter, they agree to, and it varies chapter by chapter, it's determined based on local costs, they agree to pay at least a certain wage, and that wage is enough to pay all education expenses and enough for a single person to live. It's, for your information, it varies. It'll be determined here, right? But it's about $15 an hour. So that's the range that it's in. I will tell you that our employers generally, when you're talking about a technical employee, a technician, they consider that a steal as far as what it costs. And they actually get value added benefit even while they're students and working. FAME professional dress includes tucked in collar, shirt, and slacks. We run this as a fully professional program. We are intent that we will not contribute to the image of manufacturing, technical and technology work as second chance jobs. These are fully professional, fully engaged. We are dang proud to be manufacturers and technology jobs, and as part of that, part of our professional behaviors, we present an incredibly professional appearance. It's a working uniform appearance, but an incredibly professional appearance. These are some of the components of the program. So professional behaviors, lean manufacturing, I got manufacturing core exercises, lean manufacturing. There is a strong multi-skilled technical core, daily expectations, reinforcement, feedback, and correction. Traditional classroom and lab, and a learn it and live it model, where once you learn something, we continue to practice that for the rest of the time they're in school. This program is not an accumulation of academic courses. During that 8 hours, or the 8+ hours they're at the school, they're taking academic courses. They're also doing other projects and so forth that they're engaged in, which builds their capability and competencies with that, and they continue to put into practice what they've learned. at the point that they graduate, they have retained much more of what they've learned than is typical for a traditional student because they keep using it. Excuse me. Like I said, I don't know if my voice will make it on that. I'm not going to read all of these. This is the professional behavior. Think of this as soft skills. These are soft skills. We divide them into 3 categories. The 5 professional behavior practices, the 6 professional behaviors, and the 7 essential behaviors. All in all, we have 18 direct soft skills that we develop with structure, outcome, and intentionality, and 2 others that are not on this list. One, because we put it into a different category. We actually put problem solving into the lean category, and a thread through all of this is we incredibly build maturity. And as you guys know, 18 years old is very mature when they come out of high school, right? We actually resolve that. We accelerate maturity. These are the lean manufacturing courses that we have, 1 per semester, all semester, very structured, safety culture, visual workplace organization, or 5S if you're familiar with the term, lean manufacturing principles and practices, except this is oriented to the technical employee as opposed to the production employee. What does lean manufacturing look like in the technical work world? Problem solving, 8-step structured problem solving, and machine reliability, a very hands-on engaged practice that for those of you who are technical employers will get this. It basically will cause a machine to run longer before breakdown. Mean time between failure is lengthened and your productivity goes up. We have a really good course for that in that 5th manufacturing core exercise. The Advanced Manufacturing Center, the colleges that partner with us agree, they must agree, this is part of it, we have a special education area at the school. We don't teach this just out of classrooms. It's not realistic. You don't have classrooms in your workspaces. This is an open emulation workspace. It's much more contextual for learning. We teach several classes in it. We do projects in it. We do other learning in it. It is the home base for the AMT students, and the students must manage, and they're facilitated by the faculty, right, coached and facilitated, but they must actually manage the industrial safety environment, and they must manage the 5S environment. So they must manage and do that. We're building in practical, hands-on, sustained work experience that translates right into the door when they go to work for the employer full-time. And this is just a view during a visit when we had people in. I believe that's Missouri right there. That's Missouri famed Lewis and Clark chapter. And that is their open emulation area that they have. Including, we have safety lockout procedures in there, part of industrial safety. There are safety boards and 5S boards the students use for management. Computer lab as part of this. They don't have to run off to the library for a computer lab, for example. We have 1 standardized machine. Everything else can be what the college gets to teach the basics like electricity, mechanics, fluid power, fabrication. We have what we call the Advanced Manufacturing Simulator. It is not a college level machine. It's not a plug it into a 120 volt outlet and I can roll it around with 1 hand. It is a fully industrial level 240 or 480 volt robotic transfer machine, and every program will have 1 of those, and it is the centerpiece of the AMC is what we call this, the Advanced Manufacturing Center. Folks, you don't see this in any colleges that you go to, this type of center and this type of learning environment. The famed technical core, this is representative and not exact. Actually, the local employers get together and work this out with the college, but this is representative over the semesters, the kinds of things that they will be doing. And you're going to get this PowerPoint. I'll let you read through those later. The famed career pathway. Pre-AMT pathway development. Partnerships in the K-12 environment to create excitement about STEM, and at the appropriate point to create greater interest to go into a pathway like this to improve recruiting at 12th grade. Programs such as First Robotics, Skills USA, Project Lead the Way, we engage as partners. Post-AMT pathway development. Advanced manufacturing business. We have 2 bachelors, we have 2 masters. They're not just off the shelf, just like the AMT program. They've been specially designed to be especially impactful to employers. They are better than the average business degree. They are better than the average master's degree. We also have, by the way, we're getting ready to open up our first bachelor's in engineering technology. So you can see how we're expanding this. Everything we're doing, we're designing it around impact and benefit to employers. Again, colleges will do that, and they make a really good effort to do that, right? But I think you can get that if the employer is designing this, it's going to be really connected. We know what we need. We know what has an impact. We know what works for us. Maintenance career, prepared for accelerated promotion, responsibilities, and compensation. Helps change the perception and respect for manufacturing careers, which helps recruiting, right? Helps you in your community. Expands the number and diversity of those interested in manufacturing career. We recruit everybody, but we have a special focus on recruiting underrepresented populations into manufacturing. In technology, we have 2 populations that are underrepresented. Females, people of color. Now, we need everybody. Remember, we have a numbers problem. We don't have enough to fill our numbers up, right? So we're recruiting everybody, but we have well beyond the average effort to reach out to the 2 underrepresented populations to increase the proportion of those who will come into our sector. Associate's degree can lead to a great career and further education. Manufacturing Institute provides strong platform to host the FAME USA network of chapters. It enhances partnerships, maintains a national website, coordinates event, builds out national pathways, it enhances your operations locally. You've got a built-in active partner that helps you full-time. Best in class and unique, highlight, share, reinforce best practices nationally. We're talking to each other all the time. I don't mean us to MI. This chapter is talking to this chapter, is talking to this chapter with it, and we're constantly sharing best practices, and we're on a constant spin-up of program improvement. Facilitates all FAME-specific training. We have training for employers, we have training for colleges, we have training on how to do the professional behaviors. We basically have this covered, and if we're going to do it, how do we do it? We have the support there to do it. Provides FAME communications. We provide promotional materials. We help with student recruiting. We support peer networking, which is what I just noted. Alignment of resources. Leverage the strength of the National Association of Manufacturers to support program development. One of the reasons that Toyota chose MI as the national partner was because of its tremendous national outreach. This is a map of where chapters that are either in place or will be starting next year. That says 300. It's actually right at around 400. There's your footprint right there. See your little dot down there? On that? So the chapter would have actually enrolled students this year, but what happened? COVID, right? With that. So we're now gearing up to hit next year. This was an event that we had at the Alabama FAME Rocket City chapter. See how sharp the students look? Yep. They did not dress up for the event. Folks, that is what they look like every day at the school. We are professional. We build pride in the program. By the way, they were in different colors because we actually had, I think, 3 different chapters there. These are the 2 national leaders. Now locally, I was going to show a video, but I want to make sure that Dante Leon and Wendy Samuel, they're going to tell you about the local application here. I want to make sure they have time to cover what they're doing. If we have time at the end, I've got a 6-minute video that was actually made by a chapter. And so it gives a really good chapter look and feel that I would like to play. Your chapter officers here, by the way, I think most are tuned in either online or here. I know that Artie Leffler, I saw him. In fact, I think Artie, every time the PowerPoint goes off, I think you're the one that shows up. With that, Rebecca Cruz is one of the chapter officers. Sarah, where is Sarah? Over here. Sarah Dougherty over here is one of the chapter officers, and the two lead folks at DSC at Daytona State will talk to you now about the Sunshine chapter. And Wendy, I don't know if you're here or going to be virtual.
Virtual.
Virtual, okay. So every time we can key Wendy up, she's going to give you a presentation, and if we have enough time at the end, we're going to show that cool video and have Q&A. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
John, thank you, John. Okay, well, I'm Wendy Samuel, and I'm the Work-Based Learning Advisor here at Daytona State College. And I have a very brief presentation for you. And then I believe Artie Leffler has a couple of things he would like to mention to everyone as well. So, John, if you'd move to the first slide. So here at Daytona, the FAME program, the students are enrolled in our Associate in Science degree in Engineering Technology with a mechatronics specialization. The Gen Ed and the electives were selected jointly with the industry. Each student is interviewed and sponsored by a local company. So the local companies that are sponsoring the students are interviewed by the companies. They work 3 days a week and they attend class 2 days a week. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are their class day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are the days that they work. They progress as a cohort. So all the students that start in 2021 will graduate at the same time. And they are required to meet academic and attendance expectations. Ready for the next slide, John? Thank you. This outlines the first year of the curriculum, and as you can see at the top, each semester has the manufacturing core exercises embedded into that semester that Dennis mentioned. So this just outlines the first year, and John, you can go ahead to the next one, and that outlines the last 2 semesters of the programs and the courses that they're taking. In full, they will have 60 credit hours at completion. So, the program is hosted at the Advanced Technology Center in Daytona Beach. And you can see that was just a couple of pictures. These are the eligibility requirements and the application process. So they have to be at least 18 years old by the time they start the program, have a standard high school diploma or a GED, eligible to work in the United States. They must meet certain placement test scores, and then they have to make a commitment to remain drug-free. In order to get into the program, they have to first complete the Daytona State College admissions application. They can do that quickly and easily on our website, daytonastate.edu. Then they must go to daytonastate.edu/FAME and complete the FAME application. There's a separate application for that, for our program. Then they'll schedule their placement test, submit their academic transcripts, their high school transcripts, and apply for financial aid. Our chapter has the full support of the Volusia Manufacturing Association and with its 200+ members. Any interested companies can contact Jane Pfeiffer and or Artie Leffler to join. And then this is just an outline of our executive committee. Sponsor employer roles and responsibilities are basic ones are outlined here that strongly support all the AMT requirements and practices at the school. The employer should support the attendance requirements, the professional dress requirements, all our professional behaviors. We work very close as a partner. And while the AMT student is in their college phase, remember that your primary partner is the college. So you and the college work very closely together to lead the AMT student to successful completion of the program. Next, let's see. Actively track progress, regularly check to ensure that your AMT student is on track. Check with the trainers and mentors at your companies to make sure that they're developing satisfactorily. Check with the school leaders to confirm that their performance and their progress is here, that their attendance is on track, everything. And then most important, if there are any problems, we need to address them as soon as possible. Get them out of the way. And these are our 2021 deadlines for students. The deadline to apply for the 2021 cohort is June 1st. And then the AMT interviews with the companies would be somewhere in June 14th to the 17th. The offers would then be due by the 25th. And then the acceptance letters will go out by July 9th. And then we hold a signing day for the applicant, the sponsors, the parents, and the community. Make it a sort of a celebration. And this is the contact information. And while that's up, Artie, if you're still on, would you like to chime in and say a few words? Artie, are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I apologize for having my screen on while the presentation was going on. I wasn't aware of that, so hopefully I corrected that midstream. Just wanted to bring up a couple of points. I am on the executive committee for the local FAME chapter. Brett Schmidt, Sarah Dougherty, and Rebecca Cruz had done a lot of legwork to get all the grassroots information gathered before we decided to start the chapter. They asked me to join the executive committee, and we spent a lot of time with Daytona State College, vetting them out, making sure that they were the right education partner, which they certainly are. And we incorporated in 2019 as an entity, and we would have been in 2020 with a cohort of students, if not for COVID-19. That being said, we're looking to put a cohort in place for August of 2021. You saw the schedule of due dates. A lot of work has been put into getting all this set up. At this point, we're looking for companies that want to be actively engaged at the board level for the FAME chapter. If anybody's interested, please reach out to me. We already have a group of companies that have expressed interest. Obviously, we don't only need companies to sponsor students, we need students to go into the program. So our goal is to get 20 students into the August 2021 cohort. And if we do that, that would be fantastic. Daytona State has put a lot of time and effort into getting us to where we are today. The websites are integrated with each other, so if you go onto Daytona State's website or the FAME website, you'll be able to go back and forth between the websites. You'll see all the applications. It's a pretty easy process, and we're very excited about it. So if anybody's interested in helping out at the board level or being involved at the board level, please let Sarah know, or let Rebecca know, or let myself know. Recently, we brought the VMA into the organization as the face of the organization from the manufacturing point of view and also from the education point of view. With all the manufacturers that VMA represents, it seemed like a pretty good fit, and everybody agreed that that would be a good way to move forward post-COVID-19. So I'm actively engaged in the VMA, and VMA is very excited about promoting FAME, and it has been from day one. So I think it's a great opportunity. I think we need this in Florida, and certainly in this area of Florida, and I'm very excited to be on the team moving it forward. Thank you.
And that concludes my presentation, so I'm going to turn it back over to either Dante, if you have anything you'd like to say, or I'm going to turn it over to, Dennis. Dante, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to present this program, and we're here very excited about this new opportunity, and then we're looking forward to getting new students. This is our second time around, so a lot of the work is already being done. We have a very supporting chair and also the VMA behind us, and all we're looking forward to is getting employers involved, and then we'll take care of the student recruitment. Thank you for the opportunity. Back to Clarence.
While I said a couple of other words, I also had brought a second PowerPoint. Is that also loaded? I'm not going to go through the whole PowerPoint, but there's a link in there that I want to get. Yeah, that's it right there. So this is going to be emailed to you. This is primarily a resource document for you that you can go through later. I want to point out a couple of quick things, and then we have a link in here. This talks about the problems that we're using to address directly with it. I mentioned them earlier, right? This is what a local FAME chapter looks like. You have a collaborative of employers who lead the chapter and partner with a college partner, and then you create a continuous career pathway that feeds workforce into it. This is self-explanatory. When you see it later, it kind of looks at what's the co-engagement between the career pathway and the employer. Here are the three components of the program: technology, lean manufacturing, and professional behaviors or soft skills. One important thing I'll make: it is not about technology with the other two as side dishes. Now, they get more technology in this program than a traditional student does. They get 5 semesters worth. But all three of those are equal. We're not teaching technology. We are building a person. That's our approach into this. And the employers will tell you, by the way, they are, as far as their actual technical skills go, they say they're the best new employees they've ever gotten. That's across the network. This is what the FAME career pathway basically looks like. This is an actual pre-K to master's degree, year over year, grade over grade pathway. It was the first one created in the United States. All in one system where if that kid, that 4-year-old on the left in pre-K, based on if she likes STEM, decisions she makes and things like that, she actually has a pathway built into her. We were serious when we said we're very comprehensive in how we think of this model. As employers, you're going to get much more positive exposure in the school system than you probably ever have before. Good for your company, good for your PR, good for your engagement, good for your recruiting. Actually, went backwards. Just a graphic, you can see it later. And by the way, watch these 2 videos. We're serious about reaching out to our people of color and our women too. They inspired me, the videos.
For the EPA program?
Well, not the ones I'm going to play though.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but when you get these later, if you want to watch those, they're pretty incredible. Program has won 12 awards and recognitions. Here are various connections for you. See it in action, and what I would like to do, we have enough time to play this, and then we'll maybe have about 10 minutes or so for Q&A. See that first one up there, Kentucky FAME, Northern Kentucky chapter? Play that video, please.
We need people with the right skills to do the jobs of the future. And quite frankly, we needed them yesterday.
We're investing in employment, we're investing in skills, in workforce development, we're investing in high schoolers, we're asking the local business community to drive that. These are the actions that are going to be the difference, and this is why I'm confident that the vision for us to become the manufacturing hub of excellence in America is not a pipe dream. It will come to fruition, but it's our job to make it happen.
Our ability to generate skilled labor in this community is directly linked to our economic viability.
Kentucky FAME is a great partnership for Kentucky. It brings together manufacturers, the education community, and students to be able to promote manufacturing and the jobs and careers that are there for manufacturing.
What makes Kentucky FAME a little different partnership is it's led by the manufacturers.
The quality and the precision that's required in the automotive space is extremely high. Each month we make 43 million individual pieces in North America, so you can imagine the requirements that we have are quite extreme.
For us,
there's really no one on the street that can do what we do. You know, it's not like experienced automation technicians that are walking around looking for jobs, right?
Now, a lot of people think you make an investment, it's in equipment. It's just not equipment, it's people. If you want to grow, you have to grow your people.
Northern Kentucky's been blessed with, you know, being leaders in lots of industries that are all facing these similar challenges. And so it's aligning the core curriculum and the product that comes out of the community college to the direct needs of those companies.
We chose Kentucky Fame program. It was academic. It was not only technical, but there was the academic piece. And then there was the behavioral piece as well. And they're learning how to problem solve, 5S safety, all those combined, working at the company and going to school. This was a program that we wanted to do.
So one of the things that we've struggled with is how do we marry what they're learning in the classroom directly into what they're being trained on that week? And to build a curriculum for that, an on-the-job training plan, we can't dedicate that kind of resource to that for that one apprentice that we have. But what we can do is have all the trainers from the FAME program come together and look at how do we do that as a group. And then all we have to do is how do we specialize that for HUM?
Kentucky Fame's just given me a very broad, high-demand skill set that is sought after by a lot of manufacturers today.
As a small business owner, it provides a solution for me to hire cost-efficient employees that are being trained the way I need them to be trained.
I see the smaller companies working together with larger companies and having partnerships. There's some things that will be as big as we are that we do not invest in. So we build partnerships. You start working together with other companies, start learning things, and before you know it, you become a team. Working with Bosch and Hahn and all these other companies now as a cohort, we work together. We're doing business with each other now. So we became a big family in Northern Kentucky.
The partnership is really about getting a feel for the world that is advanced manufacturing. And our Kentucky Fame students know the world they're going to work in. That in our programs, and you can take a look, you know, around our facilities, you can see the stations that they're working on are the very same technologies they're going to be working on in the workplace. So what they tell me is, I have confidence that what I'm doing here matters. And you don't always hear that in education. There's sometimes a question about, is it relevant? Is it going to make a difference? Why do I have to learn that? You never get that in our advanced manufacturing classes.
And you spend these 2 years in the FAME program, and it really guides you in what you want to do.
3 days work, 2 days school. And it's set up really nicely because you take what you learn at school in your tech classes and then come to work and do it.
And then right after I learned how to do it, they used to tell me, okay, the next time if this ever breaks down, you're the one fixing it.
9 months ago, I graduated from high school and I've already traveled for work. I've already gone to Mexico to train other maintenance teams how to MIG weld. I'm already thought of as an important player in our company. It's amazing.
To be able to come out of college with 22 months debt-free and have at least a year of work experience that adds value to the company immediately. It's tremendous.
I think some of the uniqueness of the Northern Kentucky Fame in our evolution is we've done a number of things that I think have been leading edge.
The mentoring's big. We do big on mentoring. We do big on recruitment.
It's never too young to get students interested in manufacturing. Today we'll be doing a tour of first, second, and third graders to show them what our robots can do and to get them interested in the sciences and the math.
We go through the high schools and we're trying to get everybody to think differently. If you go to NASCAR, we sponsored a NASCAR. What's our biggest neighbor in Northern Kentucky? Kentucky Speedway.
Hey, my name is Garrett Smithley, and I'm driving in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I worked with multiple winning teams early in my career. Currently, I have the honor to be working with a very special team, KY Fame at Kentucky Speedway. I've learned a lot about KY Fame, and it has a similar skill set that we have in racing.
So I want the Kentucky Fame program to be considered world-class. We have a structure that teaches people the right hard skills that they need, but an environment that is applied, more project-based learning, and the soft skills that they need to be able to communicate and work together. And if we have a robust program that is viewed as highly effective, and we're building this pipeline that is establishing this highly qualified workforce, that's going to make it more attractive for other people to come in. And all that means is we need to keep going, because there's never a point where we're going to be done.
Kentucky Fame has been a real gem for us. We've been lucky to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm super excited for advanced manufacturing in Northern Kentucky. More jobs are opening up, and there's lots of opportunities.
I think what Kentucky Fame does for Northern Kentucky is it connects us to the world.
Future looks extremely bright. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see where this program takes me.
So, a couple of years, a little bit of vision, a little bit of energy, you guys can be making your Florida Fame Sunshine Chapter video with this. I believe Daytona State, have a few more words you'd like to say?
The skilled workforce starts to now age out. There simply aren't enough young workers.
Since Dennis opened the floor, yeah, of course. Again, we just want to hope that with all the information that's been provided this morning, that you've been able to connect the dots. I mean, that's what's most important. And find your place in the presentation. There's something here for everyone. And what we're trying to overemphasize is that we stand ready to provide the level of support that you need as manufacturers in this community to empower your workforce, to help you sustain a workforce so that we can drive the economy. We're partners in this. We consider ourselves to be very valuable stakeholders. And all you need to do is knock on any of these doors, and trust me, we will answer. And not only will we answer, but we will provide for you a well-qualified, highly trained, well-credentialed workforce. So having said that, this will not be the last time we speak. We want to thank you again for the invitation, for coming to your meeting this morning. It's a great honor for us to be able to be part of your conversation. And I ask that you not forget about us. Invite us back. And if there's anything that we can do on the ground level to support your efforts, again, please don't hesitate to reach out. So thank you again, Bliss, for the invitation. And with that, I think the Daytona State presentation is done. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to point out today that with the employers in the room, and there were some who had hoped to be with us, but due to new contracts coming in, things being shipped out, that sort of thing, they had conflicts and could not be with us. But with everybody represented, that represents over 6,000 employees just in the small group that we had invited today, and those of you sitting in this room. And I think that's very significant for Southeast Volusia to represent that many or employ 6,000 plus people. And now we'd like to open it up to question and answer. And we have everybody here who can answer the questions. And if anybody virtually has any questions, please raise your hand and those will be funneled to whoever.
And just for what it's worth, when the meeting is over, I know some of you need to go, but if some of you have questions and want to stay after, I'll stay as long as you need.
And then Frank is ready to give you a tour of the CNC laboratories if you like. Thank you all very much. Any questions?
I just have a comment that I wanted to, I apologize then.
Rebecca, can you come up here?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
This is more like a question, not a presentation.
Well, so everybody can hear.
Yes, ma'am. So I apologize, Dennis, if you said this, but one of the things when we're going through FAME is this can be an employee that currently works at your facility that you want to invest in. So let's say it's somebody as retention, high performing, great attitude, and you want to invest in that employee. So don't always think of it as a new person, and I'm not sure if...
And I did not say that. In fact, that's one of our fastest growing student demographics or incomes.
And those are the students that are going to be talking in the community and helping build that workforce. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that investing in your workforce is something that's key and important, and don't overlook employees that you currently have. And the second item, Dennis, we talked about the retention. So these employees are selected by each of you manufacturers. You get a look at all of the applications that come in, resumes, testing, and you select those. What's the current retention rate?
So we have not officially measured the rate. We have unofficially kept track of it, and I think this is a close number, but I don't want to put my hand on top of it with it. But retention is probably, and by the way, The very first graduating class was in 2012, and those were small numbers, so realize we're talking about a limited frame too, right? But we think retention is running right around 85%. Pretty good. Yeah, it's really good.
That's all I had, thank you.
Yes,
Dennis,
sir.
question. A lot of technology in the video, right? A lot of robotics, a lot of automation.
Yeah.
The marine industry doesn't live in that world like automotive and some of the other industries. How scalable is FAME downward to the general labor population?
So I got two answers for that if I understand what you're asking. So you made a good observation. That particular chapter, they made a really good video, and that's why I show it, right? Because it gives that chapter feel. They happen to have a lot of automotive suppliers, and it was started by an automotive company, right? However, that 2-year multi-skilled program is universally technical. It is not automotive specific. It's not even manufacturing specific. It's the technical aspect of it is electricity, fluid power, mechanics, and fabrication, machining and welding and so forth with that. Now, let me add into that is when the local group comes together, the employers will come together and they will determine the curriculum that they need. You'll come to a common consensus. So what you do here in Volusia County might be a little bit different than what that chapter in Kentucky did or what a chapter in Texas or Alabama does. So you'll have a chance to do a little bit of honing of that, right? The second part of that question is the core FAME program is a full 2-year associate degree, right? But what it has that goes with it is it has a really strong pipeline to come up, and we're just coming to the point where we're ready to start developing some additional programs that would be less than an associate degree program and for different skill sets. And so the answer is could you incorporate other occupational skill sets into this as part of that pipeline? The answer is yes. In fact, on that little handout, I forgot how it was worded, but it noted it can be expanded to other things. The nice thing about it is you only have to build your pipeline once, and then what happens is, right now we tell students we've got this incredible technical program, right? Well, guess what? And by the way, we already have in other places, we've already started a tool and die version of it, right? But at the pipeline, now we got 2 choices for students, or we got 3, or we got 4. And we're thinking about the production. We're not thinking about it. We're actually starting to work out some of the details of what the production pipeline looks. Does that answer the question, or you're trying to go to?
John,
okay.
we thought the same thing, and well, Sarah might even have a comment on that. Like, is this a lamination worker? Is this a finishing worker? Is this an assembler? And it's probably the 2-year program more fits maintenance or CNC or welders,
right,
so that you have that higher level. But there is an opportunity, and we want to get one program started before the other, that maybe there's a year certification program. Sarah's pushed real hard because it may not be the 2-year degree, but it could be, laminates and composites and, gunworking and, certain things that are associated specific with marine because we have such a strong need in this area. Sarah, do you have anything else?
And then the nice thing about that is while you develop a different skill set, you still get those soft skills and those other aspects.
And that was kind of my point. We went to Alabama and Indiana to look at other chapters and see it's part of the process to start the chapter here. Those kids were so well spoken. I would put them up against anyone in this room, even Dennis, to outspeak anyone. And that's something that as employers, we don't have time to train. You're not trained in hygiene, but you are training that your hair is kept, your clothes are clean, things like that. We don't want to deal with that. And those soft skills, that if they come in with that good attitude and that understanding of manufacturing is not dirty and I can step up, I can be in a leadership role, I think it just boosts that with hopes that it brings other people below them up.
And it's a career, right? It's not just a job.
Right, that's right. That's right. And I think about our industries where, technology is really starting to root itself in the assembly world, right? With digital switching and all these technologies that we're starting to put into our boats. And, it's all, farm-raised teaching and taking employees and showing them the new technologies. And so I think on the assembly side, there is a link from a technical standpoint and a technician that could probably be really valuable for our companies, at least.
Even on some laminates, when you start talking about machine maintenance. It isn't just fancy machines. It's
That's
taking
right.
care of your equipment.
Yep. All right, good. Thank you.
Rebecca did say something though that I would emphasize. I would probably recommend you start out first with just the one program so you learn how to do the program, right? Get that capability there, and then start branching into these others with that experience.
Good.
So I promised that I would throw this out there. I've sat on the STEM board or STEM committee with Edgewater Public School, and they're going through their SACS accreditation, which is an accreditation beyond Volusia County school systems. This offers us the ability to get in front of the younger kids. So my ask to you guys is to find a school in your area and help us with the FAME chapter to get into the younger kids, because it's not just about FAME, it's about getting them introduced to STEM and at a young age so that they come up through the system with an interest. I take every single kid from Edgewater Public School through the factory over the course of the year. This year, I don't get to do that, so we're gonna do it on video. But they all look forward to coming back to see what's different, because now they've been exposed to it. And if we can do it year after year after year, then we're starting to build our pipeline, because frankly, our school system's not doing that for us. We have to get out in the community and do it.
This is Dante from Daytona State. I'm sorry I'm doing this. The thing is this, to give you an idea of what's happening here with our FAME chapter is Daytona State already has started a process of lining up our curriculum with the local academies at the Volusia County school system and also Flagler school system. So that's a first step into building this pipeline. So the students that come from the manufacturing academies, they can already, with that work, they can get some credits towards our FAME program. Then they can finish a FAME program with a curriculum that we have already established with the executive team. And after they finish the FAME program, the 2-year FAME program, what they can do also is they can seamlessly get into our BS in engineering technology. All of that can be done without leaving the state or without leaving the county, starting from high school all the way to the bachelor's level. And that is something that is important. And also the other part that we also need to realize is that they're in the school 2 days a week, but they also are in the company 3 days a week, and that's where you do the fine-tuning of the student. You can either scale it down or scale up the training that's provided, because the AS degree training is a broad-based training, and you can adjust the content with mentors when the students have the 3 days on the factory in your locations. So there's a lot of good opportunities there for everybody. So we're ready to get this thing launched. We're going to be very aggressively recruiting the students, and we're also looking for manufacturers that want to sponsor these students for a period of 2 years. Thank you.
Let me interject, but beyond manufacturers, if you need technical employees, we're interested in those also. All right, so if you know technical employees, or technical students, I'm sorry, with them.
Any other questions? All right, well, I thank you once again. We greatly appreciate your time and participation. And I think Frank Snyder and Frank Mercer are ready to give anybody a tour that is available. And if you want to speak with anybody after this, please feel free to do so. And thank you once again. We will be sending you emails to follow up with information, as Dennis mentioned earlier. Thank you.